What's going on, y'all? This is Isaiah Fowler, the founder of SWAV Agency and SWAV Eyewear. And this is the 78th podcast episode. We're talking about something really good today. But before we get into the show, I want to say this is the best platform for direct-to-consumer information. Every Monday and Wednesday, we come into you with some heat. Every Monday and Wednesday, we have a podcast episode specifically centered around direct-to-consumer. When I say direct-to-consumer, I mean going directly to your consumer and your customer. If you have a product-based business on it and you're selling on the internet, and how to foster that relationship, how to build that brand, how to build that connection, how to have long-term sustainability, long-term staying power, how to have more leverage, how to keep your leverage, how to increase your equity, how to increase your value, how to build your, increase the lifetime value of the customers that you have. These are all the things that we talk about on this platform. Today is no different. So today I wanted to talk about influencers, but also how any influencer can make, 7 figs off of building their own D2C brand. And I'm gonna break it down why it makes sense. From my perspective, I see a lot of influencers, they try to get these big followings so that they can get these brand partnerships. But to me, it doesn't make sense. And here's why. If you are an influencer and you get these brand partnerships, it could be $20,000 deal, $50,000 deal, that's cool. But once that's done, then what? You on to the next. It's kind of like a feast or famine thing. And then also, what if you had your own brand that you had equity in? What if you had your own brand that you have ownership of? You can make more money longer, right? If you're an influencer, you already got the attention. Why do you think somebody is willing to pay you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to promote their product? I remember I posted something on Facebook. I said, I don't want to be the influencer getting paid by the brand. I want to be the brand paying the influencer. If a brand is willing to pay you 10, 20, 30,000, that means that they got to see the value in you having this connection with your audience. So why don't you just build your own brand? It only makes sense to me. Yeah, it's harder a little bit, but here's what you got. You got the hardest thing of making money on the internet, and that's an audience. So if you an influencer, listen up. It's what you do, right? Everybody has their niches. You got influencers like the basketball influencers, right? Like Famous Los, Filet, B-Dot, right? They do basketball comedy. I've seen their journey. They blew up, was on SportsCenter, all that stuff. But if I was one of them, I would say, hey, I'm about to come out with like a basketball apparel line and have some custom jerseys and basketball shorts. Find a manufacturer. And this is easy because you could find somebody locally in the city that can make basketball shorts. If you're a hooper and you hoop every day, why not wear your own shit? Because what's going to happen is people going to say, where you get this from? On the internet, they're going to be looking at you. People are already looking up to you. You send them to the website. You make your own money. You ship out the order. You build your brand. That's what I would do. If you're an influencer, no matter what niche you're in, the concept is the same. The principles is the same, right? Here's what you need. You got the audience. You need the story of the brand. You need you need meaning behind the brand. You need a product that goes seamless with who you already are, what niche you're in. If you're a cooking influencer and you got a couple 100,000 followers and you trying to get brand partnerships, why don't you take a pause from the brand partnerships and build your own brand? So if you're in a cooking niche, I mean, it could be pots and pans. It could be anything inside the kitchen, right? If you're a fashion, person, what's your favorite piece? You could brand yourself as a designer. You could start designing jackets, whatever. There's really no limit to this, but it just doesn't make sense to me because I'm all about ownership and equity, right? Because here's what I know and here's what I learned. Wealthy people, they speak the language of equity. And everybody talking about building wealth, right? If you really about building wealth, you ain't worried about front end money. All you care about is the back end. Back end equals wealth. Always remember that. Back end equals wealth. So if you are trying to get the front end money, you're not about the wealth because the back end is how you really get wealthy. That's the long-term money. So instead of trying to get a $10,000, $20,000, endorsement deal, why don't you just sacrifice that, market your own self, right? Market your own self, send them to your own website, and instead of getting an affiliate commission, you get 100% of the product that you're selling. I know a lot of times people want to have these lifestyle businesses and things like that, but if you just sacrifice a little bit of that lifestyle, you don't even understand the lifestyle that you could truly be living down the road. Truly be living down the road. The name of the game is business, equity, control. That's the name of the game. And the thing about it is when you're chasing these brand partnerships, they have their way of doing things. They want you to do it a certain way. And then after a while, the promotions that you're doing for these other brands, it loses its potency. Because if you're doing them all the time, now you're just looking like a product tour, right? Now you're just looking like somebody who's just about the money. And now your audience starts to lose trust in you and value in you because they see that you just marketing anything because they got a bag for you. But if you just took time to slow down, look at things from a bird's eye view instead of a worm's eye view, and think a little bit, you would say, hey, I got this big ass audience. Why don't I actually build a real company? Because when I launch, I could have a $20,000, $30,000 launch because I know how to speak to my audience. And then with that $20,000 or $30,000, I use that $20,000 or $30,000 or more to do what? To fund the business. It makes sense to me, right? You don't have to only seek brand partnerships. If you're an influencer, what if you just built a real business? It's not flashy. It's not the popular thing. But long term, that should have changed your life. Because now you're in a position where you have an asset that in the future you could liquidate for 10, 20, 50, 100 million in cash. And that's better than any brand partnership check. You know what I'm saying? So if you're an influencer and you don't have your own product-based business and you want to talk about the strategy, then hit me up. If you know an influencer, share this with them. I don't care what the niche is. This principle and this philosophy can go across the board. You got the audience. That's what you got to understand. That's what these big companies is after. They're after the audience that you fostered. So why don't you benefit off your own audience rather than allowing somebody else to benefit off the audience? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got for y'all. If you want to take that information and go run with it, do your thing. If you don't, I understand. But at the end of the day, it's all about building a brand, baby. Building a brand is the holy grail of life. Build a brand, you'll never have to worry about a dollar again in your life. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got for y'all today. If you want to schedule an intensive, then click the description below, the link in the description below, and we can do that. Always remember, everything you do in life starts with a vision. Peace.